Welcome to Fortress of Faith with Tom Wallace, calling North America to repentance and revival.
Welcome to the Corner of Truth and Courage. You're listening to Fortress of Faith. This is Tom Wallace. I want to weigh in today on this mayor candidate for New York City, Zoran Mamdani. He's kind of blossomed into popularity, come out from nowhere in a way, it seems, although he was elected to the New York State Assembly for the 36th District for Queens in 2021. He's a young, charming man, and he actually was born overseas. He was not American-born, but born in Kampala, Uganda. He is now the presumptive Democratic nominee for the mayor office of New York City for the upcoming election here in 2025 later in the year. And there's a lot of things he's been saying that are very, very concerning, that a man like this and the beliefs and the things he wants to do and then be successful to be elected as the presumptive Democratic nominee is very concerning, to say the least. So let's break that down. Let's look at who he is. One of the things we're going to discover is that he is a Muslim. Isn't it interesting that the city of New York would embrace a Muslim to be their mayor 24 years after the city was viciously attacked by Muslims in one of the most horrific attacks in many of our lifetimes? Could it be that the city of New York will embrace a Muslim to be their mayor? Well, let's look at who this man is, and let's go back a generation. Let's look at his parents, because I think there's some interesting things that we will learn about the makeup of this man from his parents. His father, Mahmoud Mamdani, was also born overseas. He was born, though, in India, in Bombay, India. And he was raised what we call a Gujarati Muslim. What does that mean? Well, they have a interesting practice, not practiced by the rest of the Muslim world, but basically it is they call it Jamaat Bandi, which is a communal solidarity. And in short, basically, they practice communism, communistic Marxist practices. You know, although they are Muslim, they're communist Muslim, to kind of say the least. That might explain a little bit about this guy's policies, about this candidate's policies. His father had an interesting background, bit of a radical, raised in Kampala, Uganda. Even though born in India, he was raised in Uganda. In 1963, he was fortunate to win a U.S.-funded scholarship known as the Kennedy Airlift, and he got to study in America at the University of Pittsburgh, got his undergrad work there. Then he moved down to Louisiana and spent most of the 60s in Louisiana during the civil rights issues. In fact, he got in trouble, got arrested for his involvement in the things, and so he's had a little bit of an activist background. Later, he continued on with his studies, got into Harvard, and earned his Ph.D. through the scholarships that he was afforded. In 1972, he returned back to Uganda to teach at the university in Kampala, although he got expelled by the government there a year later for his radical views and ended up in Tanzania. And these two countries fought with each other there. He became stateless in 1984 for his criticisms against the Uganda government. And in short, he is a radical Marxist. And guess where he lives now? He lives in New York City, and he's a teacher at Columbia University. Wow. Now, you need to know, Columbia University, if you do any research, what main college influences the most of the teachers in the United States and the curriculum and all that there? Columbia University, if it's not in the number one spot, it will certainly be in the top three. And so here's a radical Marxist who's been teaching at Columbia University, influencing most of the teachers of America. His mother, this candidate's mother, Myra Nair, also born in India, and she followed the line of in becoming an actress and then later a filmmaker and a director, and somewhat successful. In fact, she was going to be honored back in 2013 at the Haifa International Film Festival. Now, Haifa, of course, is in Israel. And she was invited to be the guest of honor. She refused. In a tweet, she wrote about her protest against Israel's policies towards Palestine. He says, "I will go to Israel when the walls come down. I will stand with Palestine for the academic and cultural boycott of Israel. I will go to Israel when occupation is gone. I will go to Israel when the state does not privilege one religion over another. I will go to Israel when apartheid is over." And then later she tweeted, "I will go to Israel soon," in kind of saying, it's going to fall, this country is going to fall, and I'll be able to go. But I'm not going to go there until these things. So she is certainly bigoted against Israel. And so this mother and father, who are Marxist and also Muslim, raised their boy, Zoran Mamdani, who's privileged to be an American citizen and living here in these United States. He has set forth a radical campaign, and this is what's shocking, that Americans, especially New Yorkers, are buying this. And of course, what is he offering? Freebies. They're fare-free city buses, so all the buses will be free. And child care will be free. City-owned grocery stores. Now think about that for a moment. What do we mean by city-owned? Government-owned food. So your food supply comes from the government. What does that kind of remind you of? Yeah, communist. The communist ideas. And how well did that work? He wants a rent freeze and rent stabilizing the units there, and affordable housing. Well, that's forcing what we call the free economy to come to an end. He wants comprehensive public safety reform, a $30 minimum age. And this, of course, is the interesting thing. I will tax the whiter neighborhoods. So we're going to go after the rich, but we're also going to go after a race, the whites. The whites are going to pay for all this. Now, you need to know, if you ever go to New York City, it's like going to most metropolitan countries throughout the world. And it doesn't take you long to realize there's a lot of immigrants that live here. In fact, there are 500,000 Muslims that live in New York City. 500,000 Muslims live in New York City. You may not know it also, though, that it's a very large population of Jews. The Jews are there, almost over 900,000, just short of 1 million of the immigrants or people that live in New York City are Jews. But most of the Muslims are immigrants. Most of the Jews they've been born here in America. But a lot of the Muslims are foreign born and are coming in with their ideas and their ways and their culture. And of course, Sharia, which is a concern. So now we have a city that has a large population of Muslims, which hates Israel, which hates the Jews. And so he was asked this question on The Bulwark. He was asked whether the phrase about globalized intifada, does that term make you uncomfortable? That's how he was first asked that question by a group called The Bulwark. Now, what is the intifada? Intifada has been very clear, the assassination and killing of Jews, the attempt to try to destroy and kill the Jews from within, attacking them. There have been a number of intifadas in Israel where the Palestinians, where the from the West Bank and from Gaza have, willfully put bombs on buses and drove their cars into people, shooting and stabbing of Jews and just terrorism. And now there's a call for a globalizing intifada, not just having it in Israel. Hey, let's bring this to the world. If you find a Jew, kill him. That's pretty much what that's about. So he was asked that question: does this kind of talk make you uncomfortable? And he gave a word salad response. He's better spoken than the vice president was, but she was famous for her word salads, wasn't she? But that's what he offers. He offers a word salad response. And so when he was on the NBC Meet the Press here just recently, he was asked point blank, will you condemn this kind of talk of globalized intifada? And again, he did the two-step shuffle, would not answer the question, would not condemn it. And he just kept, flying off in other directions. And two other times, she really pressed him on this issue. Why won't you just simply condemn? Because that's the issue. Why will you not condemn that kind of talk? And he kept offering word salad answers. This is very concerning, of this coming out of someone who wants to be the mayor in New York City. I don't have the time to get into this there, but it brings us back to this discussion about Marxism in America. It has taken over our schools. It has taken over and is getting into our institutions in many, many ways, and it should alarm us. And I've been warning America about judgment of God, judgment for our national sins, and God raises up enemies to bring judgment upon those who know better. We saw it in the Bible with Israel. God warned that this applies to all nations. We're seeing it in Europe. Europe's being lost to its values. It's lost pretty much its religion, and now it's losing its freedoms as they give way. And we see Islam sweeping in and Marxism sweeping in, and we're seeing that taking place here in these United States. And I'm here to tell you, folks, it's not a battle we're going to win politically. These are results of a bigger problem we have in America. We have a spiritual problem. We have a sin problem. And that is something that we have to address with God. God is the only one who can lift his hand of judgment from us. But if we continue in our national sins, if we continue to kill the unborn, if we continue to practice homosexuality and rejoice in it and celebrate it publicly, and all these sinful, wicked, lewd behaviors that's going on in our country, until America repents and until we turn back to the face of God and realize that he is a holy God and he will not turn a blind eye to it there, we will see a continuation of our destruction from within. And we're seeing things like this grow, where America is embracing its own destruction. Lord, help us. But there's hope, and the hope is from above, and it's not in the White House. It's in the church house. We're going to have to stop here, but join us again tomorrow at the Corner of Truth and Courage. God bless you.